Hi everyone, welcome to the Industrial Automation Control Training Room. In the previous video, we introduced how to use basic components. In this section we will explain users. To use this function, you should set permission groups in the security settings under User Security and assign permissions to the permission groups. After setting up the permission group, proceed with user settings. The source of user permissions is the permission group they belong to. After configuring the corresponding content, we can use user functions through the combination of switch components and user-related system variables in the system. Next, let's give a detailed explanation. The first step is to find where the user configuration is located. The first place is the position of the project bar on the left, where you can slide down to find User Security. Then we can see that there are security settings and user setting displayed here. Security settings are setting permission groups, and user setting is about setting user-related content. For example, information such as username, passwords and so on. Where else can we find it? Below the top toolbar setting you can see the corresponding Secure and User Author. Clicking on Secure will pop up the security settings page. Clicking on User Author will pop up the page set by the user. Let's first take a look at security settings. You can see that in the system with security settings, there will be an administrator permission group. By default, we select the corresponding permission group, and on the right you can see its related settings, such as its group name, use author number, and other related information. Our system has 8 permission groups by default, and I have made modifications to only 3 of them. We can modify it by increasing or decreasing the number of permissions, user author number, here. Similarly, we can double-click here to modify the permission group name. In this place, we can directly manage permission groups by adding and deleting permission groups. The remaining content includes password setting and lock setting. We can check these options here. To set the password format, does it include letters or numbers? Similarly, it is possible to set whether the new password cannot be identical to the last one, as well as the minimal length of password. The minimal password length divorced to 8 digits, and we have changed it to 1 digit. Then the security setting. The default here refers to the user being locked for 60 minutes. After entering the wrong password 3 times. In addition, you can see below the new function of our software. Swipe card to log on. If we check this, we need to send the card number for the user. There will be a user card number that need to be entered in the user setting page by inputting a card number, or directly using an RFID card reader. You can swipe and log on for workstations in some workshops where it is not convenient to directly touch the touch screen. User login can be achieved through external RFID. It replaces the traditional way of inputting username and password, simplifies the usage steps and improves work efficiency. Back to security settings. You can see that there is also an cannot be deleted configuration admin user. After checking users whose permission group we set in the user settings, as administration permissions are not allowed to be deleted. For example, we can see here that the admin is an administration permission group. Then within their user group, user 1 is a admin, which is the administrator permission group. So user 1 is not allowed to be deleted during actual use. For the same reason, the swipe card logon, it is also belongs to admin, so it cannot be deleted either. We can find that permission groups do not have uniqueness. It is not that each user's permission group must be different. It can be assigned to multiple users, making it easier for us to manage permissions and users. After establishing a user, there is no need to repeatedly set permissions. Just assign permission groups directly. After completing our permission-related settings, let's take a look at user settings. On the left is the user list, which we can directly add or delete by changing the user number. The corresponding information on the right is the relevant information of the selected user. We can directly modify username and password. Since we have checked support swipe card to log on, we can set the card number for it to log on. Below is a preview of corresponding permissions for the permission group to which it belongs to. There is also a password validity period setting. This is used to set whether password modification and related content are allowed after setting up the permission group and user-related information. Let's take a look at how user functions are implemented. Firstly, let's discuss the system variables related to user permissions. It can be seen that it has a group of user permission, followed by many variables. So how do we use it? You can understand the usage of this variable by viewing its variable description. For example, I have selected user password in this place, which is used to enter the password when the user logs in. At the same time, we also need to pay attention to the read and write mode for this variable. How can we achieve user function? By reading and writing these variables. What is also needed is the user permission setting in the set function. So let's come to the initial window here. Select the component set function to set user provisions. Then you can see the expansion of our user permission actions. There are many options such as user login, user logout, and new user. After selecting it, you can see a lot of content below it. This refers to which system variables are required for this function. For example, if we choose to new user, we need to set a username card ID, password confirmation of password for this user. We can achieve user functions by using these switching components and read or write user variables in the system variables. There is one more thing we need to pay attention to. It is a user information table display component. It is used to display all user information for the current project. At the same time, it supports output select row data to variable, as well as dynamic setting and table content export. Then I will demonstrate a simple user login operation for everyone. Let's switch to the window of demo. We first select user permission settings in the function and select user login. It can be seen that we have used two variables, set username and user password, error in speaking. We click OK and give it a label. Login. Login. and apply it to all. Then we select a graphic and change the size of display. As I said before, it uses set username and user password. Then for the convenience of operation, we will use the list function below the switch component. One thing to note here is that we need to take a look at the data sources in the list. You need to select user. Otherwise you won't be able to select this variable. Then select user permission. Set use name. OK. Then place the list here. Similarly, we will place a character input component here to read the user password. So data display character input and read variable of user password. Here we go. Let's see the actual effect in offline. This is the basic window. Let's switch to the demo window. You can see that this is the window that I made before. And these three are what I just made. So for example, we select user 2 and input the corresponding password 2222 and click to login. And user 2 has successfully logged in. Then we choose to log out. Let's demonstrate the convenience of logging in with our card number here for user 4, which is swipe card login. And we just input the corresponding card ID, 8. And see that it has successfully logged in. We do not need to perform any other operations. Okay, that's everything for today. See you next time.